In this video, I will show you how to use curves to model a logo. So here we have into the source files the folder using curves for a logo here, and you will find a logo in PNG file. So very simple one, just to show you how it works to create a shape from an image. And like this, you will see how to use reference images into Blender like this. And we have a text here that we will not model with curves because we have a font here that will follow the text. And I will show you how to use text objects as well, because texts are really, in a way, very similar to 2D curves. So let's go into our reference image. So very easy to add a reference image. You go into your folder, you click and drag, and you have your reference here. Another way of doing it is to add here an image, and it will be a reference, and you will add a reference image and go into Des options and find here the right tool. But honestly, this one is quicker. What we will do, we will enable opacity like this. We have our object that is not totally in front, and we will decrease the opacity like this. It doesn't take a lot of space and a lot of pixels into the interface, and doesn't disturb that much. We'll remove the other objects here. I will make RG Alt R to make it totally straight. Go into top view with orthographic view, okay, with 7 and 5 into the numpad, and use the dot to be sure that I'm well here. Now I will just call this reference, or just ref. It's enough like this. And now I can add another collection here, and this collection will be our logo itself. Let's go. So first of all, I will show you how to draw this simple shape. I really want you to understand how it works in 2D. And so I did choose really simple shapes, but whatever logo you have, it will work after with these techniques. It's just time you spend on it. You can, if you want to, from an image, you can vectorize as well. I think some softwares like Illustrator are very useful for that, and you can extract some files from import some files from Illustrator by using here the file import here scalable vector graphics here, the SVG. You can save a file from Illustrator or maybe other softwares, other vectorized vector softwares that makes this SVG. And yeah, that's what I use usually. So I go from an image, I vectorize in Illustrator and import in Blender, and you will have the curves that works perfectly like that. So any SVG that you will find online will work as well. But for example, we'll model by hand, and here what we will do, we'll just add a new curve. This curve will be a Bezier, and this Bezier will work in 2D because we don't want it to be in 3D. We want to use the fill mode both here, and as we didn't close anything here into our curve, it cannot fill for now anything, but in the end for sure we will close the geometry. So now let's go in edit mode. Maybe we can use that one here and remove that one. Okay, so let's go for this handle here. And so you can use different techniques here. We could, for example, go there and use the set handle type by vector, for example, and extrude the first one here. Okay, then go back into the aligned one and make a rotation to follow the curve. Okay, and mostly it's what we will do during this process. Okay, so you can play with different handles Maybe I will go until there, because sometimes just with a well aligned here, yeah, you see that it works great to create this shape very well. Okay, so not the goal is to not have too much handles. You can use the curve pen as well to draw it. You can use this by going there and just draw like that. And this one is very powerful as well. As you can see, it works pretty well. You can still go and align some. Just with the dots, just with a click, you will have a dot. And now we can play with that. For example, like this. And another click here to have something straight, to have maybe a shape like that. As you can see, it works pretty well. Another one from here will work, I think. And maybe if we are good, we can just use only one here. Okay, and by going into that part of the handle, follow this shape here. Not that bad, actually. Yeah, we have a shape, a decent shape now. So now we'll just close here our shape and use the F key. And now it will create the entire surface. We can still come back a little to align some parts of it. I don't want that one. Oh, sorry, it's because I'm not into the right tool. So maybe scale this a little will help. And now we have our shape. Good. So what we will do, we'll just select everything and duplicate it and make a rotation 90 degrees, rotation 180 degrees, and put it back here. In case you want a mirror, for example, okay? So let's say you want to make the same, but with a mirror. You select everything, you make Shift D into the X-axis and make a SX -1. And like this, you will have the full mirror just like this, okay? Very easy to manage. You can play with holes as well. So I will come back to that. Okay, and you can play with holes by adding inside the curve a circle, for example. And this circle might be big in the beginning, maybe here, starting from here, let's say, and duplicate it and scale it down, duplicate it, and scale it down, duplicate it, and scale it down, etc., etc. Okay, you know the process. And yeah, it can make interesting shapes as well. So you can play with these tools very easily to create your shape. And then after you select everything, make a Shift D, okay, air 180, put it there, and you will have a new logo, okay? But let's stick to the original one. So what I will do, I will keep only this. So with L and L, I select the two original here once, and with Control Y, I will invert the selection. Control Y, very powerful one, and we remove here the vertices, and now we have just this. Good, perfect. So what we can do now into the geometry, we can increase the depth. Okay, we can create a volume. Now we just have a surface. We want a volume. So let's go into that. And for this, we will just increase the extrude. As you can see now, we have a full volume. And we can play a little with the bevel depth as well to increase, to create new shape like this, maybe just a little. And you can play with the offset to come back to the original if you need, okay? Maybe something somewhere near here might be good. Depends of your project. So you play with the offset if you need, or you just stick with the original one. And if you want to move a little, there's two here by going with SZ, for example, or with GZ, sorry. GY, that's why it didn't work. SY, sorry. So you can stick more to the original shape like that. Now you will have a little bevel into your object. Good. And now what we will do, we will create the text here. The text will let you here have a text object here, and in edit mode it will let you just write your text. So here it's the same text that I want, and I want to use ABC info just like that. Okay, let's call it like this. So now we have our text that is good. So in edit mode I just write it like if I write in a text editor. I can use the basic font options like the paragraph if I aligned it to the left or to the center or justify or whatever. I can play with the character here, spacing, like I can increase that, like all the text editors that you will find. Very basic things that I think everyone knows here. And you can play with the fonts as well. So by default here, you just go, if you open the font here, you will just go into the font folder of your computer. Here I have a specific font that I did download for it, so I can search the font into the demo files, the source files, sorry, into the using curve. I have the velocity regular here, so I can open that font, and now I have the right font. Good. So I can use the same here things with the size. I can increase the size, okay, and maybe on top move it like this. You will find exactly the same shape, more or less, okay. And what is good with this text, it's that it has exactly the same options than the curve for the geometry. So if you go into the geometry tab here, that we will find here, you will find the extrude. So if I have here a value like 0.1, I put 0.1 and I will have the same here depth. Okay, perfect. And I will do the same, for example, for the bevel. Here I have value. I just click, no, I just don't click, I just point it here and make Control C and go there and make Control V. And that's it. It will have the same value. Like this, we have something that looks more or less the same. Okay, and we have a nice logo that is done in 3D. So what we can do, we can make it follow the first one. Like for example, I take this one and make Control P, and I will just make a set parent too. And now if I move that one, it will move itself. If I make a scale, it will move like this. So I can align well with RX 90 degrees, for example, hide the reference and make, I can add maybe just a shader of metal or whatever, make a nice render. We'll see how it works later to create these kind of things. But we could animate, for example, part like make a Z like this and animate it like that, or a little animation that you can add on video or something like that in 3D. So it's always better than just 2D render, not that beautiful. So you can add some volumes into your scene, for example. So very important one, you can just make static render as well with a nice shadow behind or something like this. It will work as well. But yeah, you have more possibilities for animation, especially when you want a 3D logo just like that. Okay, so it will work with whatever curve that you will import in Blender, like for example SVG, like I told you. And if you need, for example, modify this or curving this, it can create a problem. So for example, let's say you have, I can show you this kind of example here. Okay. You have another curve. let's take the Bezier circle here and make Alt R into this object. You have another curve, and this curve will be, let's say, a basic ring, okay? So we'll use depth like that, basic ring, just like this. And you would like to put your logo into it, but not flat, but curved on top, okay? So what we will do, you will add a modifier, generate, and it will be a curve, deform, it will be a curve, and it will be the basic curve object. So you can see that it deforms, but if I scale it up, and I will make the same for that one, but let's take only this object. If I scale it up and move it down into GZ, we can see that now we have this bad here, this bad shading, because we have a lot of triangles, like I told you here into geometry here. It creates everywhere triangles. So it's not really the best way for deforming things like that. So in that case, it's very specific, this one, but it's very useful when you want to engrave things or follow some geometry. So in that case, what I do, I duplicate the entire collection here and we'll create here a logo mesh, okay? This logo mesh will work and we will convert everything to meshes. So I will select these two objects and go there and go into the convert to mesh. So I can align again this one, Shift T, somewhere here. Okay, and now I have two objects that are meshes. Good, with a lot of vertices everywhere. But they still have all of these triangles there. So what I can do to remove these triangles, I can go by hand and create geometry here, but it will be a mess, honestly. It will be a lot of work. So I will join these meshes to have only one object now. And what I can do, I can just go and create a new mesh with a generate here. Where is it? The remesh here. Good. And now we'll have a kind of shape like this. Oh, it doesn't work well in the beginning. But what we can do, we can use the sharp option, remove disconnected here, and increase a little the depth here until we have a nice shape. And see what we have. We have a lot of quads now. So it will work better for deformation, okay? So now if I make a curve on this, if I add a curve on this, add a modifier curve, deform curve, good. So, and I can use that one again and make a GZ to make it well oriented, okay? And maybe we can invert it by going with GX. It will follow the curve like that, and we can put it on top so we have a nice ring with our logo into it, okay? And let's scale it up. And like this, we can see that here it will follow well the curve and will not have all these artifacts like we had before. So it's just an example to show you how it works. But basically, in most cases, you will stick into a flat surface here, so it will not create problems, okay? So that's why it can be very powerful to work with this method, just to add a volume to a surface like that. So that's it for this video with modeling curves, modeling logos with curves. And we will use curves to make some little ornaments into the next video.